Federal Executive Council directs review of ministerial approval limits.
Thanks to the empathy of Mr. President on the challenges that Nigerians are facing and his desire to lower the cost of pharmaceutical for those who cannot afford it.
Federal government commits to sustainable financial system as Vice President Shettima inaugurates new First Bank headquarters.
Non-resident farmers moving forward with vision, agility, and a deep commitment to Nigeria's prosperity.
Senate stands by its rules as Senate President denies sexual harassment allegation.
So it is important for the public to know that political as this matter can be, we cannot be emotional about it.
Good morning, Nigeria. Today, we shall discuss digital economy, sustainable job creation for youths.
You know, Victor, there is something about Nigerian youths that stands them out. And their energy, their creativity. But the big question is, where are the sustainable jobs to match that potential?
Exactly. And for years, we've relied so much on oil, leaving all, other sectors playing catch up. But with digital technology, we might just be looking at a game changer.
True. The digital economy is opening doors, e-commerce, digital payments, software development, you name it. And with over 100 million internet users, the market is there.
And the opportunities are huge. Think about it. Tech startups, freelancing, digital marketing, even data science. These are not just buzzwords. They are real job creators.
Real job creators, you will say. But of course, it's not all smooth sailing. Infrastructure, digital literacy, policy gaps, those are hurdles we still need to cross.
You can say that again, and that's exactly what we're exploring today on Good Morning Nigeria. How can the digital economy create sustainable jobs for Nigerian youth? What are the opportunities, the challenges, and the solutions?
Well, it's going to be an insightful discussion, so stay with us. I am Ademola Adeoye.
And I am Victor, as we also got newspaper review coming up later.
But first, let's bring you the latest news with Mina Daniels, who is sitting by. Good morning, Mina.
Good morning, Ademola and Victor. Here is the morning news. The Federal Executive Council has directed immediate commencement of a process for the review of threshold of procurement approval for ministries, departments, and agencies. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, revealed this consideration at the briefing after the Council's meeting.
All the memos presented here are largely related to procurement, and so we want that to be decongested, memos to be decongested at the Federal Executive Council level to give room for more detailed discussions on policy issues and reduce some of these memos coming by increasing the threshold of those procurement processes to be executed at the ministerial level.
The federal government is working to create a system that is sustainable and globally competitive for Nigerian banks and other financial institutions to thrive. President Bola Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, gave the assurance when he performed the groundbreaking ceremony for a new state-of-the-art headquarters of First Bank of Nigeria at Eco Atlantic City in Lagos State.
With vision and dedication have made this groundbreaking possible. We are not just starting a new building, but we are beginning a future. One Nigeria needs, prospers, and inspires.
While every institution has rules guiding its procedures and operations, which all members must abide by. at this point was buttressed at the Senate with regards to the ensuing debacle involving Senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Udagan. President of the Senate, Gasol Akpabio, also at the commencement of plenary, debunks allegations of sexual harassment leveled against him by Senator Natasha, urging the public to await the decision of courts on the matter.
However, I would like to state clearly that at no time did I ever attempt any sexual harassment on the said distinguished Senator Akpoju Uduaghan or any other woman.
This petition that was presented by Senator Natasha was signed by herself, which is also in gross contravention of our Senate rules. It has to be her constituents or any other Nigerian.
So it is important for the public to know that political as this matter can be, we cannot be emotional about it.
The House of Representatives is advocating the federal government and security agencies to deploy more military personnel and resources to curb banditry attacks in parts of the country where such attacks still persist. This resolution followed motions of urgent public importance moved on the floor of the House.
Incidents of kidnapping occurred weeks ago in Siga, Yanshuni, Kandarawa, and Lamid villages, all in Bakodo local government. Many people were abducted and are still in captivity, and the bandits demanding hundreds of millions from victims' families.
Also, a head of a vigilante group in Owan West was murdered in cold blood. Worried that this series of bloodbaths in Edo State has created the atmosphere of uncertainty, fear among the people of the states, affecting the socio-economic lives of the people.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has urged Christians to draw closer to Christ, show kindness, and deepen their commitment to serve others. This is in her message marking the commencement of a Lenten season, describing the Lenten season as a time of repentance, supplication, prayers, and good deeds. The First Lady urges them to work together in the light of Christ with a heart filled with hope and compassion for all. She admonishes Christian faithful to also remember Nigeria in their prayers for peace and prosperity. And those are the news highlights for now. Good Morning Nigeria continues with Ademola and Victor after the break.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, 1 person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, 1 person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary health care center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن.
Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, and Voice of Nigeria, VON, cordially invite the general public to its 19th annual Ramadan lecture. Topic: Faith, Politics and Power, the involvement of ulama in politics and its implications. Guest lecturer, Sheikh Maruf Onike Abdulaziz, Chief Missioner, NASFAT Worldwide. Chairman of the occasion, Idi Mukhtar Meha, Minister of Livestock Development. Special guest of honor, Muhammad Idris, Minister of Information and National Orientation. Royal Father of the Day, His Highness Mala Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, Emir of Zazzau. Chief host, His Excellency Malang Ubasani, the Executive Governor, Kaduna State. Host, Malan Salu Abdul Hamid Dembos, Director General, NTA. Dr. Muhammad Bulama, Director General, FRCN. Malan Jibril Babandachi, Director General, Voice of Nigeria. Venue, Lumana Multipurpose Center, River Close, off Jabi Road East, off Sultan Road, Kaduna. Date, 8 March 2025. Time, 9 a.m. Inshallah. For partnership or advert placement. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
With Nivea Dry Deo, you can keep moving forward in life with confidence. Nivea Dry Deo. Derma 72-hour active protection against sweat and odor with 0% alcohol to prevent irritation. Stay dry and fresh all day long. Skin is for moving forward, Nivea is for skin. Your favorite Nivea Deo, now in a smaller pack size.
At break time, when my champ needs to keep going, he's going to need his favorite snack, containing calcium, iron and fiber.
Milo Snacks, snack of future champions.
The Nigerian national flag represents our country's history, culture and identity. It was designed in 1959. The colors are Emerald Green 2.0, which represents agriculture, and Immaculate White represents unity and peace. Know how to handle our flag. Illuminate the environment or don't fly the flag overnight. Do not fly a dirty or tattered flag. Take such flag to the nearest National Orientation Agency office for proper disposal and replacement. The national flag can only be flown at half-mast on the directive of the federal government. The national flag must be flown at the same or higher height when displayed alongside other flags. Don't burn or allow the national flag to fall on the ground. Do not print, decorate, modify or insert the coat of arms on the flag. Our national heroes are not buried with the flag. They are honored by presenting it to their next of kin during interment. Respect our national flag. Be a real Nigerian.
This message was brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
صدق الله العظيم المتوحد في الجلال بكمال الجمال تعظيما وتكبيرا.
Ramadan, the blessed month, is upon us once again, and your indispensable companion in Ramadan, Sahur Life on NTA, is back bigger and better.
Our theme for this 21st edition of the program is Navigating Difficult Times, the Help of Allah. And our team of erudite scholars are poised to offer insightful tips on dealing with life's difficulties.
Our companion segment, including Nasiha, Women Angle, Living with the Glorious Quran, are back bigger and better.
The popular quiz segment is now reloaded to accommodate more winners both online and offline.
Come and partner with us at NTA Channel 5 Abuja, the Unity station, as we strive to bring you this year's episode of the program.
For donations and sponsorship, contact the General Manager, NTA Channel 5 Abuja, Old Parade Ground, Area 10, Garki, Abuja.
You can also contact us on 080-3314-7812
or 080-3568-8394.
080-3380-6162. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you abundantly as you contribute to the success of this soul-lifting program.
Sahur Live on NTA, your indispensable companion in Ramadan.
ولك الشكر يا الله على ما أنعمت به وأوليت.
This Saturday, we are Premier League. Brighton and Hove Albion.
Oh, fantastic! Absolutely fantastic touch. Oh, what an outstanding goal!
Fulham.
Adama Traore meets it and finishes. Traore whips in the cross. Smith Rowe's header!
Brighton and Hove Albion versus Fulham, live on Sporty TV.
SportyBet sponsors coverage of the English Premier League.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still on to Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. Up next is the newspaper review segment.
And for some reason, Chukwudi Okolie Ubaja is unable to join us for newspaper review this morning. So we'll just run through the headlines.
Yeah, headlines, yeah.
And let me begin with the leadership. And the lead story here reads, Natasha Akpabio saga snowballs into protests. I didn't harass her sexually, Akpabio. Constituents disown Natasha, threaten recall. Call Akpabio to order Kogi LNG, and Senate committee dismisses petition. That story is on page 7. And of course, the picture story details the clash between the pro-Natasha group and the Akpabio support group at the National Assembly. Okay? And above the nameplate, police kill 7 kidnappers, 9 robbers in Abuja. That's on page 23. And just next to that, FCCPC sues MultiChoice over DSTV GoTV price hike. And to other stories, Lent, CAN urges resilience, national healing. That's on page 17. 2 die in Lagos building collapse, page 22. Rivers holds fresh LG polls August. That's on page 7. And reforms have stabilized Nigeria's economy. That one is credited to the IMF, and it's on page 28. And just before I drop the leadership, Lassa fever. Nigeria records 506 cases, 95 deaths in 8 weeks. That story is on page 22. Okay, and that takes us to the blueprint. Just above the nameplate, the blueprint has Obasanjo at 88. Even opponents concede to your commitment to Nigeria. That statement is credited to Atiku. All right, and the story is on page 6. Below the nameplate, Supreme Court judgment. Fubara fixes Rivers LG election for August 9. Page 6. And in sports, World Cup qualifiers. Zimbabwe capable of beating Super Eagles in Uyo. That's according to Coach Nees, page 32. We'll see about that. And the lead story here reads, Federal Executive Council votes 10.3 billion naira for HIV and AIDS, diagnostic kits, diabetes, medications. For details of that story, you have to turn to page 8. And then the Natasha Akpabio story also features somewhere down the line. At the bottom of the front page of the blueprint, AFDB approves $230 million trade finance for Access Bank to boost SME Forex. Okay. Page 19, Lagos lawmakers deny holding reconciliatory meeting with Obasa. Page 10, that one won't go away. And Innocent Helsimba on security says manufacturers happy in Enugu. That's where I'd like to leave it on the front page of the blueprint.
Okay, Victor, thank you. I have the Nigerian Pilot newspaper with me, and just below the nameplate, we have Senate throws out Natasha's sexual harassment petition against Akpabio. Details of that story can be found on page 6. Akure Airport shot as downpour damages control tower, terminal building. Details of the story can be found on page 7. Tariff hike, federal government sues MultiChoice, accuses Coil of violating regulatory directives, obstructing inquiry, violating FCCPC Act. Details of that story actually can be found on page 4. Then we have Governor Fintiri commends dairy on road housing project in Bayelsa. That's the picture. That is the main picture there. The details of the story can be found on page 6. Rivers Electoral Commission fixes 9th of August for fresh LG poll. Details on page 4. Power generation heat 6,003 megawatts, says federal government. Details on page 5. Nigeria can earn $2.5 billion annually from trades with Morocco, Speaker Abbas. Details on page 4. Voter education crucial to strengthening democracy, Parker. Details on page 6. 5,029 civil servant absconded during Yobe staff screening. That's huge. Details on page 7. Insecurity, ASU FUAM members cry out, say their lives are at risk. Details on page 4.
All right. And I think the Federal Executive Council story interests me. FEC votes 10.3 billion naira for HIV and AIDS, diagnostic kits, and diabetes medications. I think that's part of plugging the gap that will be left by the pooling of U.S. aid financing. So it's responsive and something to cheer.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed, because, federal government this year budget has increased its allocation to health sector, showing that they have more interest in ensuring that Nigerians have good health care. Now, let's look at this. Senate throws out Natasha's sexual harassment petition against Akpabio. And you read from that paper, there were protesters from both sides.
Yes, snowballed to
it's really
anti and pro.
I mean, Nigerians can be very funny, actually. They should just allow, the process is it court process now?
Well, there is a court process, there is a Senate process.
Okay.
So those two may conflict. And I don't know which has to bow.
Wow. Well, let's just wait and see what we have at the end of the day.
And worrying is the Lassa fever story. Nigeria records 506 cases, 95 deaths in 8 weeks.
Which part of the country?
Well, I haven't read the story itself, but I'm sure it's across, spread across. Maybe it will be more prevalent in certain parts of the country, but these are human lives. 95 deaths in 8 weeks to one particular issue is something to worry about.
Okay, let's look at this tariff hike. You know, we discussed this issue about a week ago. We were talking about this tariff hike by multi-choice, and they flouted the directive from the FCCPC. I think it's not good enough. So I think the government is trying to take the necessary action against such a decision by multi-choice. They are accusing, because what they are saying now is that federal government has directed violating regulatory directives, obstructing an ongoing inquiry, and engaging in conduct deemed violations of the provisions of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act. I think it's high time these companies began to follow the laid down procedures before they take actions.
Well, let them test it out. We'll see where that takes us. I hope it results in something cheerful for Nigerians, something that will cheer Nigerians up.
Well, there are alternatives though, but then it's just that a lot of people are glued to DSTV because of the quality of their.
Maybe for most football.
Yes, I'm talking about football. Zimbabwe are threatening, or they are trying to encourage or pep talk their players that they can beat the Super Eagles. How they will achieve that, we'll wait and see.
It tells the story of a weakened Super Eagles. Only recently, Victor Ekpeba came out to say that the players of his time were better than the players that we have now, and the only way to look at that is the results. Did they give us results at that time? I think so. Are we getting results now? Nigeria is languishing in 5th place in the group. I mean, behind Rwanda and the likes of them. It tells the whole story.
Well, I won't agree totally, but I think the boys are trying their best. Just that sometimes there can be challenges, but I don't see Zimbabwe beating us. I don't see it.
Well, we have to wait and see. Demola will have to go.
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll take a break now. When we return, we dive into our discussion for today.
The NTA2 Lagos Network Center Muslim community most respectfully invite you to the 12th annual Malam Yusuf Jubu Ramadan Lecture. Venue, NTA2 Lagos Network Center premises, Television House, Ahmadu Bello Way, Victoria Island, Lagos. Date, 2nd Saturday in the month of Ramadan, March 8th, 2025. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Chief Host, Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos, Director General, Nigerian Television Authority. Principal Host, Nick Onyishi, Zonal Director, NTA2 Lagos Network Center. Spiritual Father of the Day, Sheikh Suleiman Abunola, Chief Imam of Lagos. Chairman of the Day, Alhaji Abdul Latif Femi Okunu, former National President, Ansaruddin Society of Nigeria. Guest Lecturer, Professor Abdul Kabir Olawale Paramole, Professor of Hadith, Islamic Ethics, Comparative Religion and Contemporary Studies, Lagos State University, Ojo, and Chief Missionary, Jejewiyat Muslim Association of Nigeria and Overseas. Topic, Muslims and the Economic Realities of Nigeria. Guest Lecturer 2, Alhaji Salmon Abiodun Sani, Chief Imam, Akimboro Central Mosque, Olorunshogo, Mushin, Lagos. Topic, Islamic Parenting, Antidotes to Social Challenges in Nigeria. We look forward to receiving your usual considerable response to grace the occasion. For inquiries, call 08030629590 or 08039642121.
Have you heard the news? The federal government of Nigeria, through its direct benefit transfer program, has started the disbursement of 75,000 naira per household in 3 installments of 25,000, 25,000, 25,000 naira. Each recipient must have a validated national identification number, NIN, to receive the payment on behalf of their household members. To benefit, your household must be in the National Social Register of Poor and Vulnerable Households in Nigeria. The federal government's direct benefit transfer program is helping to reduce the effect of suffering while promoting financial and economic inclusion for the poor and vulnerable population in Nigeria.
Sunana Safiya Ismail, ni daga Gwagwalada Area Council a karkashin Giri, ina da yara 7 da mijina. Sana'ana sadda itace. Akwai damuwomi da yawa, rashin kudi. Da musanta zaka ga itace zai kare, ba kudi ne zaka siya wani. An kira ni, ayi Safiya Ismail, nace yes. Come for your benefits at Angwando do Gwagwalada. Suka bani ATM din immediately na withdraw kudi na. Amman gaskiya kudin ya zo at the right time.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, in collaboration with the National Social Investment Programs Agency, National Social Safety Nets Coordinating Office, and the National Cash Transfer Office.
Hey Nigeria, ready to breathe cleaner air and save money? Let's talk about gas. Drive with CNG, the smart, cost-effective choice. Fill up for less and travel further. Save money, save the planet. Switch to LPG for cooking. It's cleaner, healthier, and better for environment. Say goodbye to smoke and eye problems. Do you know Nigeria is a gas nation ranked 9th globally with over 209 trillion cubic feet of gas reserve? Gas isn't just for cooking and driving. It powers industries too. Cleaner, cheaper, and more efficient. And the best part, conversion centers are popping up everywhere. It's never been easier to switch to gas. Join the cleaner energy revolution. Choose LPG for cooking and CNG for your vehicles. Clean energy for brighter future. This message is brought to you by the Office of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, supported by the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA.
The Nigeria Coat of Arms is the official seal that represents the authority of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, hung on the wall behind the seat of the principal officer of the government, supported by the portrait of the serving president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It has 7 features. The black shield stands for Good Earth of Nigeria. The silver wavy band stands for the confluence of rivers Niger and Benue. The 2 white horses stands for dignity. The yellow flora is a common wildflower throughout Nigeria. The red eagle stands for strength. The wreath is in our national colors of green, white, green. The motto, unity and faith, peace and progress, is written on a beautiful yellow ribbon, and it's a maxim for all Nigerians. Be a real Nigerian.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, we undying demand, we make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we have more than just a nation.
We are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Nigeria is perched on a treasure trove of solid minerals. Gold, coal, tantalum, tin. But none is more critical to our future, or the world's future, like lithium.
Let's talk about illegal mining operations. What is our strategy?
This Sunday, live on Sporty TV. Real Betis versus Las Palmas. Watch live on Sporty TV. Brought to you by SportyBet. Play with champions.
All right, thanks for staying with us on Good Morning Nigeria. And just before we get into this conversation, let's take the background report by Ibrahim Bello Gunda.
Federal government is making effort to harness the potential of the digital economy by empowering the youth and creating sustainable jobs. Over 50% of Nigeria's population below the age of 30 have a significant demographic advantage in the digital age. It is worthy to recognize that in an era where technology drives innovation, Nigeria must aggressively leverage on its youthful population to build a thriving ecosystem and harness boundless opportunities. From fintech to agritech, e-commerce to artificial intelligence, and SMEs through technology-driven solutions with long-term economic impact, among others. However, systemic challenges such as infrastructural deficit, inadequate digital skills, and regulatory bottleneck must be addressed, hence the need for targeted policies that foster an enabling environment for startups, enhance access to finance, and expand broadband penetration. This is what Nigeria is doing to fully unlock the potentials of its digital economy and create billions of sustainable jobs for its teeming youth. The ICT sector contributed 16% to the national GDP in 2024, with government commitment to prioritize the sector being crucial for economic stability and job creation going forward. The digital economy offers a unique opportunity for Nigeria. With the rise of e-commerce, digital payment, and remote work, youth can access global markets, skills training, and job opportunities like never before. The federal government introduced digital skills training program for youths, focusing on areas like software development, data analytics, and digital marketing and SMEs through technology-driven solutions, alongside partnering with Galaxy Backbone to improve infrastructure, internet connectivity, and alternative electricity supply, as well as funding opportunities such as grants, loans, and venture capital for startups of small businesses. With launching of the National Youth Investment Fund, the opportunities and challenges underscore the need for a collaborative effort from all stakeholders to harness the potential of the digital economy for sustainable development. What should Nigeria do differently to fully tap from the sector? How can government and stakeholders ensure proper utilization of opportunities available? And how can the youth fully key into the digital economy for job creation? This and more will form part of the questions guests on Good Morning Nigeria will find answers shortly.
Thank you very much for that background report. And to discuss digital economy sustainable job creation for youths, I'd like to welcome, here in the studio, we have the two big, we have giants in the industry of the digital industry here. Professor Ayo Omotayo, Director General, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS Kuru. You're welcome, Prof.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right. Also joining us here is Kashifu Inua, Director General, National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. You are welcome.
Thank you for having me, and good morning, Nigeria.
All right.
We have also been joined here in the studio by Dr. Niro Oyekale, Chairman and CEO, Commit Technology and Consult. He's also a digital and emerging skills advocate, as well as public sector consultant. A pleasure to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much, and the viewers at home, good morning.
And finally, joining us via Zoom is Dr. Bashir Abdul Muzakiri, lecturer with the Department of Computer Science, Northwest University, Kano. He is also a former Director of Academic Planning, Northwest University, Kano, and former Senior Special Assistant on ICT to the Governor of Kano State, 2012 to 2013. I'm sure that we will reconnect with Dr. Muzakiri in the course of the conversation. All right.
Okay. All right. So let's begin our conversation by laying the foundation for digital economy. When we say digital economy, what exactly are we talking about, and how can we leverage on it to create sustainable opportunities for youth in Nigeria? Professor Omotayo, you can just Let's have your thought on that.
Well, thank you very much for having me once more. When we talk about digital economy, we are basically saying two things. How are we going to be able, or how do we use technology, especially the digital sector of technological development, in running other sectors that are physical in the world? Normally, the economy talks about people farming, people in the health sector, people in the educational sector, and all of those ones. Now we're saying that how do we use technology to drive those the activities of those sectors such that people can have advantage of working in those sectors using technology fully. Yeah, so digital economy looks at the totality of what happens to all sectors of the well-known physical economy when we infuse digital technology into those activities.
So how can we now leverage on that, to create jobs for the teeming youths that we have in this country?
Yeah, thank you very much. For us at NIC, let me just say this. We must thank Mr. President for choosing that topic of digital economy and job creation for youth, especially for us at the National Institute. For those who may not know, the National Institute is Nigeria's foremost think tank. And what we are set up to do, one of our mandates, is to carry out researches into any area of the Nigerian economy or any area of our social sector based on what Mr. President wants for the year. So for this year, Mr. President chose that particular thing, digital economy and youth empowerment and the rest of it. And we found that that is very apt at this time. Apt because we have so many youths that are looking for what to do. And of course, if we are going to get our youths the kind of jobs they need, we need to go digital. And of course, the whole world had actually gone digital before Nigeria took off. Now, for Mr. President to choose that topic, it shows that he knows the importance of the digital economy in driving jobs for the youth. For us at NIFIC, we have carried out researches and we know that the future of work is in the digital sector. And of course, if we fail as Nigeria, as a country, to tap on the opportunities that the digital system provides for us to run various sectors of our economy, then certainly the generations coming behind will not forgive us. So that's why I said we have to thank Mr. President for giving NIPS the opportunity and drawing the attention of our society to the importance of digital economy in creating jobs. There is almost nothing now that you do that you can say, oh, we can do fully without digitalizing. And of course, when you digitalize, you give more opportunities to more people to participate in various sectors of the economy. And of course, it broadens the scope of what you do. Let me just say, in 1998, I wrote a software, and I told somebody, I said, in another 5-10 years, that was 1998, I said one person will teach millions. But then it didn't catch on. People didn't understand. I said, with the way technology was going, that's one person will be able to teach somewhere, sit somewhere and teach millions. And of course, I kept my codes. When COVID came, I remember what I had done in 1998.
You brought it out?
Yeah, I brought it out. And for us at Lagos State University, we started using it in my department on a small scale. Because I knew that the digital system was going to take over everything. And I want to let us know that with what we have now, it's going to even be more intense. It's going to be our health sector will be taken over by digital system. I was telling a medical doctor what opportunities are available in the sector for the digital, for the infusion of digital technology. And he was afraid. He said somebody's going to take away the jobs of doctors. But that is how, and that is where it is going. I've always told somebody, I said, oh, we can actually carry out a research where you can buy your Panadol or any of your medications on your phone. And it's not by somebody telling you that the medication has come and take it physically. You are going to have Panadol arrive on your phone, you put your finger on it, and Panadol will enter your body.
How will that be possible?
Well, I've always said it, but I know, I know it.
That's where we're going, right?
That's where we're going. Together with NITDA, we are pushing the frontiers. For now, we are going to work with NITDA. I've been talking to, I started talking to the Minister for Education that Nigeria now needs to move forward. We are going to develop the first robot teacher. Now, by the time you also have a robot teacher, you're asking me what opportunities exist. So many. You have a robot teacher, you have a robot doctor, you have the robot farmer. Why would somebody go to the farm and keep doing what machine can do? Tilling. Why must I use heavy bulldozers and tractors to till the floor if we can have some smart digital systems do that for us? So a whole lot of opportunities are out there, and I personally, we at NIPS believe that we have to be ahead of the game. We don't have to wait for the Western world to tell us where this thing is going, because they will want you to move at their pace. But we have what it takes in Nigeria to make the digital economy bigger. We have 200 million Nigerians, and 60–70% of them are youths. If we don't create these opportunities for them, certainly we will have all of them doing what we call japa. We must create the opportunities. And you asked me, do we have the youths to do it? Yes. Can they do it? Yes. All they need is the enabled environment. At NIPS, we don't talk about enabling environment anymore. We talk about enable the environment and then let's move.
Because a lot of youths are actually into digital space now, but probably they are not getting the right, knowledge. Anyway, we'll come to that.
No, I mean, I don't want to believe that they are not getting the right. We just need to guide their paths.
Okay.
Where the opportunities are. I'm sure if you give the opportunity to the DG of NITDA to talk, he will tell you what things they also have done or are putting in place to ensure that our youths benefit greatly from the opportunities in the digital sector.
All right. Thank you, Professor Motayo. I hope I wouldn't have to take Panadol when you start dishing it out through digital systems.
Yeah.
But DG, where precisely are we in Nigeria when it comes to digital economy? Are we maximizing its potential for job creation as it is?
Thank you. Let me just echo what Prof has said in terms of the definition of digital economy. Any economic activities enabled or empowered by digital technology is a digital economy. That means digital economy in itself is not a vertical sector, but it permeates across all critical sectors. And Mr. President is very intentional when he mandated our ministry to accelerate economic diversification by enhancing productivity in critical sectors through technological innovation. So to enable that, the minister unveiled a strategic blueprint for the ministry with 5 strategic pillars. The first one is knowledge. Okay. Because knowledge is the foundation upon which nations build robust and sustainable economy. Digital economy is about knowledge because technology makes our lives better, but people makes the technology better. So people or talent is the human component of the technology itself. Technology itself, it's nothing without the people using it, applying it in the right places. The second pillar is about infrastructure, because to build digital economy also you need infrastructure. The same way we invest in the conventional infrastructure, roads, railways, airports, after the second industrial revolution, which was about mass production of goods, and those goods need to be moved from one place to another. That's why we invest in the conventional infrastructure.
Okay.
Today we are talking about digital economy, where data is the currency of that economy. Therefore, we need to be intentional in investing in our digital infrastructure. And also, Mr. President is very intentional on this. Mr. President is looking at both infrastructure that will connect intercities and infrastructure within cities that can, or even rural communities, that can give our citizens access to the knowledge and places like Innovation Nest. The President has directed us to establish Innovation Nest in each geopolitical zone.
Innovation Nest, what's that Innovation Nest?
Innovation Nest is a space that will provide like a platform for the ecosystem, because innovation is a process of taking idea from inception to impact. And you cannot just do that anyhow. You need to work in an ecosystem. So that's one of the things we are lacking in Nigeria, a platform where industry, academia, entrepreneurs, risk capitals can meet together with government to look at what we need to move the needle.
Okay.
How can we take an idea from inception, like how can we infuse AI into agriculture to improve our agri-produce? So you need to be in that community. You need to understand the problem of that community, and you need to work with the ecosystem in that community to achieve that. So part of the infrastructure we are doing, we provide learning centers to our communities, for example, secondary school in rural communities and so on. That will allow our citizens to go and learn the digital technology. Then the Innovation Nest is a space, and we have a maker space in that place where you can come and turn your ideas into products or services.
Okay.
Then we are also building the fiber optics. We are building our compute powers. The President has approved the minister to establish an SPV to roll 90,000 fiber optics kilometer. Because in Nigeria, we don't have issue when it comes to the submarine cable. We have one of the largest connectivity in Africa, but we don't use up to 30% of that capacity. So how can we bring it out from Lagos to connect all the nook and cranny of the country? So the President has approved that. And also, the President has directed us to engage with the global community to build our compute power in the country. About 3 weeks ago, the President met with the Google CEO on this, because we need to have our data, cloud, operational, and digital sovereignty. Without this, it will be difficult for us to thrive in the digital economy. Today, more than 85% of our businesses are using cloud, which the data is not in Nigeria. Sometimes we don't have control on how to even use that data. But for us to achieve a sovereignty, we need to have that cloud infrastructure in Nigeria. Because the way it is going, even our military, our security agencies need to digitize. Can we put our military information on cloud data to be somewhere that is exposing our capacity? So we need to build our national cloud infrastructure, which we are doing. We are engaging all the local data center providers in Nigeria together with the hyperscalers. So we are building a roadmap to build our cloud infrastructure in Nigeria. So doing this will help us to have the infrastructure we need for digitization and AI transformation as well, because AI has come to stay. We are all using AI without knowing, But how can we be more intentional in the way we do it? It will help us improve productivity in whatever we do. And improving productivity can improve revenue and drive national prosperity and inclusivity as well. So the third one is about policy, enabling environment. How can we create regulations, policies, legal frameworks that will help startups to innovate, to disrupt the way we do things, to start and grow businesses in Nigeria? We already have the Nigerian Startup Act, which has provided that legal framework. And also the president has set up the Youth Investment Fund and other funding like the Renewed Hub Infrastructure Fund, which also help in building the infrastructure and funding our youths to turn their ideas into product and services. Then the fourth one is about innovation, entrepreneurship, and capital. Then the last one is about trading. How can we embed digital technology into our trade, even locally, in our market? How can we get people selling tomatoes, onion, to use digital technology? Because, for example, many people today, like my wife, before she goes to market, she calls people, help me get this, get that, and so on. If not, she'll go and spend 2 hours in market going round. But she can use technology. Today she used just mobile phone to call them. What if they can put their products on WhatsApp, on Facebook, or if we can even have like a marketplace locally created in Nigeria? People can put their products there, and prices.
Or
yes.
very soon that, just like what Prof said, very soon you just press your system and the pepper and everything will come. Your system, okay.
I will cook with that.
Dr. Nero Oyekale, let's have your thoughts on this now. We've heard about the efforts of government in promoting digital economy. Now, what about the private sector? The private sector itself and the civil society organization, are they in any way working together with government, to achieve this goal in creating jobs for the youth? What efforts are they making, or should they, work on?
Thank you very much. It's been very, very interesting listening to the giants. But yes, if that is happening, what you just said now, if there is this handshake, perhaps Nigeria would have been better off. Central to this discussion, listening to my two brothers here, is human being, competence. Do we actually have the competence to drive all these things we've been talking about? There is a big question mark on that. What do I mean? Everything that will happen will not happen by miracle. We must plan for it. It must be structured. And that is an area that I think we need to look into very well. One, as I always say, there is no institution of higher learning in Nigeria today that is actually graduating anybody into the labor market with the minimum requirement for employment. Meaning that what we need to actually be relevant and be a participant or participate in this kind of is missing. It has not been integrated into any level of education system in Nigeria. That is one. Then what are we talking about? Secondly, is that when we have policies, what informed our policies that we have developed? Policies in 21st century should be data-driven. What is the proficiency level of Nigeria? Nobody can actually tell that this is where we are as a nation. As a teacher, right? Before you even start to think of empowering somebody to become a medical doctor, that person needs to start from somewhere. We don't even have a standard. We don't have any benchmark against the kind of training we are giving to Nigerians. What has been the result? We spent so much money trying to empower the citizenry, but we've succeeded in doing that in our own way. Remember, skill is now universal. There is standard all over everywhere, which is uniform, because we are now living in a world that is a single village. I just returned from Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone government already embarked on like 13 surveys to actually understand the problem, why their citizens are not actually getting involved in the digital economy world. Why are they not being recognized? Why can't they actually, apply their trades, their professionalism beyond the shore of Sierra Leone? They now called. It's okay. This is 21st century. There is need for a baseline assessment to establish the proficiency level of digital literacy in Sierra Leone. I think Nigerians should do that. If we are able to do that, leveraging on globally standardized tools, perhaps our thoughts will be different from what you've been saying. So the competence is not there. It's established. And this is because we don't have a standard. We are not aligning with the globe.
How do we build the competence then?
Thank you very much. My DG here has done a wonderful job. He first of all presented to Nigeria the National Digital Literacy Framework. That framework was not only celebrated in Nigeria. I remember vividly, July 27, 2023, the framework was launched in Abuja here. Then August 1st, it was relaunched in Florida. Sincerely yours, the entire world is seriously benefiting from that framework. And what makes that framework unique? One, the framework presented a scenario whereby every student of the world, not Nigeria again now, right, must be digital literate before graduation. Meaning that digital literacy must be integrated to all levels of education in Nigeria and to standard, because there are standards for everything. The second one is about the subnational and the national workers, that they need to be digital literate to enhance productivity in public service, right? What do we have now? Everybody is complaining, lamenting, but that document is there. It has not been implemented. That digital literacy should be the criterion for employment and promotion in public service. It is very, very important. The third one is that citizens, youths that are outside the education system, the institutions now, should be captured and be digital literate, so that these people can become the good ambassador of Nigerians going out. Because, see, if we continue to train our people our own way, our economy cannot absorb everybody. In fact, if you know the number of jobs that are being outsourced for Nigeria today, it outnumbers the number of jobs that are given to Nigerians. Why? Because we have not been able to regulate that sector, capacity development. We have not been able to set our standard right. We have not aligning with the globe. And meanwhile, skill shortage is on the increase. It's like closing up on 80% now. And it will worth like $8.5 trillion opportunity by 2030. How much is to come to Nigeria? That document will put everything on a platter of gold for Nigeria. Then the next one is that there must be an executive bill. An executive bill on digital literacy. An executive bill that must be sent to the National Assembly, back and be assented to. If this is done today, our story will be different. Then the next one is that bill, of course, is designed to actually establish an institute. It's like everybody is fighting to be part of the cake when you talk of digital literacy and empowerment, everybody is doing it. But when you look at countries like US, Estonia, South Korea, UK, Jordan, and others, they have been able to, place the governance of digital literacy at their presidency. And that is exactly how it was presented in that document. So, sincerely yours, if we can actually work with that document, establish our digital literacy provision, because we cannot continue to be like Alice in the wilderness. Everywhere she is, looks like where she's going. We need to align with the globe. And if we're able to do this, sincerely speaking, Nigeria will rule the world, because this is 2025. The situation will be very, very chaotic. There will be so much jobs, fewer hands to actually man the jobs. It has started. About 2 months ago, Sweden needed 300,000 foreign workers. The other time, June 2, Germany June 2 last year, opened a dedicated portal to Nigerians. Because, you see, look at Japan. It's now about 88% skill shortage, meaning that out of every 100 opportunities, vacancies, Japan can only place 12. Where are they looking at? Africa. Because every country in Europe and America, they are having the same problem. Here we are. We don't have any excuse. So that is it. We just need to work as a team.
All
we
right.
don't have any excuse to tell the younger ones that we cannot provide them with relevant skills that will enable them to function anywhere in the world and be competitive. Thank you very much.
All right, Dr. Ekale, many thanks for your intervention. We'll get back to you. In the meantime, let me get to Dr. Bashir Muzakiri, who has joined us via Zoom. I'm sure you've had the privilege of listening to all three guests here with us in the studio, and a lot has been said regarding digital economy and creating employment for the youth. But my question would be, in your opinion, what critical sectors in digital economy should drive that employment process for the Nigerian youth? It appears we have lost connection to him.
No, he's still there.
No, he's just still. I think we've lost connection to him. But I'll take that same question.
Good morning.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, he's back. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Did you get my question?
Please can you come again?
All right. Now, I was asking, a lot has been said about the digital economy and generating employment for Nigerian youth within that sector. And I'm asking, in your opinion, what critical sectors within the digital economy should drive that process of creating employment for Nigerian youth?
Good morning. I can see the giants have spoken. My boss, the NITDA DG, has already spoken. Sticking to the digital economy policy, I think the three critical policy areas that we need to hit on are: one, the education and workforce development. Honestly, we need to develop a skilled and adaptable workforce to empower citizens with the skills and knowledge required to participate in the digital age and support digital businesses. Secondly, the innovation and entrepreneurship support also need to be hammered on so that our youth can have like a center for incubating their ideas from there, then accelerating them and coming out to get jobs from government. Also, initiating e-governance and digital public services also is another key thing that we need to look into, where government should leverage on digital tools and platform that will also generate employment to our teaming youth, because I think the highest consumer of IT in the world is government, because all their services and all their processes supposed to go online and supposed to be digitally. And those that will develop these digital platforms and manage them are our teaming youth. I think these are the major sectors and the critical sectors that we need to hammer on.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bashir, for your opening contribution there. Let's come back to the studio now. Prof, I mean, a lot have been said about skill and skill development and training. And just like the two of them said, and that there is need for us to inculcate this into a school curriculum. And you are in the academics. I don't know what you are doing at NIBS and all that. So what skills do you think, I mean, do you need to acquire in order to participate actively in this digital economy? And also, in the school curriculum, how do you think it can be worked on so that, you know, this training that we are talking about, this skill acquisition, you know, can be gotten at that very level?
Well, thank you very much. Let me say a few things that Dr. Ekale probably missed. We have Digital Bridge Institute that has existed for some time now. I don't know if they've been able to cover a whole lot of Nigerians. They've been very active in pushing the agenda. And if I was in Katsina State recently, you see Katsina State as a program to push digital skills. A few of our states are doing something about it. The problem is the numbers. We know what to do, but to drive the numbers might be a bit different. But then, like he mentioned, we're teaching these skills out of the school curriculum. He is suggesting that these skills should be infused, and I agree with him, into our school curriculum right from the onset, because these two skills are not too difficult to pick. The younger ones pick it easily because they actually are growing up with it. And if you are even having problem of penetration, it's based on our own generation who basically grew up in the analog world. Yeah. We have the 3 million tech job that Mr. President has also asked that the relevant agencies work on. So government understands that we need to improve on the skills we have. For us at NIBS, we talk about demand, which are the youths. Okay. We talk about the materials. We spoke a lot about the infrastructure, and we talk about methods, which are the policies and the strategies that will drive what we are trying to get at. Okay. So what we can do in the interim, like he said, there could be an executive order, but I do not think we need an executive order. We just need more sensitization to get the relevant agencies to do what they are supposed to do. I'm sure the National Youth Service Corps is an area where we can get the youths as they are coming out of university, teach them skills. I know Dr. Ekale knows about, he spoke about competence, and it's more or less talking about, certifying our youths in various areas of digital skill set. It is a good thing to also, because when he was speaking about global standard, it's actually looking at, we are all using the same devices, we are basically all on the same infrastructure. You need to prove that I can do this. And I think maybe what we can do in addition is acquiring these certifications is expensive. Maybe we can empower youth by giving them further scholarship. Right now, Mr. President,
I was going to say that.
Yes, we have one for the conventional university, but I know in the last few weeks, Mr. President has also said that the Students' Loan Fund can be used to acquire digital skills. So maybe if we have better organization, you mentioned subnational level. You see, everybody sits and looks at the national level, Mr. President, but what are the state governors doing? What are we doing at the level of the local governance? If you are going to have infusion of digital skills and improve on digital literacy, it has to start from the grassroots. You have to get local governments involved. You have to get states involved. Let them have specific numbers they want to train. Let us find ways of ensuring that even right from the start, we know that a lot of Nigerians are illiterate. And we at NIBS, we are telling Nigerians that we need to begin to develop our devices. We have something we call the Digital Devices Initiative, which is like, do not wait for the white man to develop a phone before you buy one. We can have a Nigerian phone that can just do basic things. If we're talking about people selling tomatoes, there is no Nigerian now that cannot pick a phone, snap the tomatoes you have and put it online. This device we are talking about, we are designing, it's not supposed to be the major task of NAPES, but we feel that we need to push
something
to
into
push
the market.
something. We have to, if you are going to get those market women into this, we have to come up with easy to use devices. Yeah. Oh, I have tomatoes to sell. My camera should have a phone. Pick it. I didn't even go to school. I can't add. If you see one tomatoes, if the person is buying 5, press it 5 times. It will tell the woman how much she's supposed to charge. You know, devices that will work. It doesn't have to be very grandiose or very sophisticated at the start of. If you are going to involve so many people, like I've said, we need to start from where we are. How can we get majority of our uneducated market women to participate? And that's a small way by which they can start participating. We don't need expensive phones. If you look at this very expensive phone, a whole lot of what is programmed into it is probably not even used by those who buy them. Let's use a phone that probably does 5 things. Basic things, and the women are in the digital space. Take a picture, just press. It's always about press, visual, graphics, press, and it gets to somebody like Salifu's wife to see what tomatoes the person has to buy. Okay, and of course you have global. We can have more of global. I mean, the opportunity is there for the logistics company who can also see that somebody is buying tomatoes and we need it to be shipped to wherever the person is. The location at which the tomatoes is from the person who is trying to buy is already seen on global. If they want anybody who has that information, we see that this person is buying tomatoes is going to have it, going to have to move it. Okay. So he spoke about the ecosystem. We need to develop the ecosystem. Nigeria can do this thing. I'm very convinced that we have for our youths, they have what it takes. I don't have a doubt about it. We just need to get the numbers. He spoke about.
We have the numbers.
Yes, no, to get more people. Okay. To get more people into it, you can have. You use the word intentional. Okay. Or just for example, can say that I want to train 500,000 in 3 months. That's the kind of intention he spoke. Am I right? Yeah. Kano State can say I want to train 300,000 in 3 weeks. How do I do it? Mm-hmm. So it's not like you just throw it into the air and then you are hoping that at the end of the day some people will be changed. So you have to have the numbers you want to push. Of course, the federal government has provided the infrastructure nationwide. He spoke about connecting to our marine cables, pushing.
But how do we get the states to buy into all this?
You see, I don't like saying this, but I'm always very unhappy with the way states always feel that federal government, what are they themselves doing? The federal government sets up the infrastructure. Okay, Oyo State government can, I'm just using Oyo State, I'm not saying particularly they are not doing anything. Oh, the federal government has brought the marine cable. They're going to bring it to your state line. Mm-hmm. States should be able to broadcast it around their states. Okay, you can take it to the local government line. Let local governments pick it up from there. But to expect that it's only the federal government that will take the marine cable, bring the fiber infrastructure to Oyo State, take it to Lagelu local government, take it to Irekpodun local government, it's just going to be too slow and too much. Oh, we can't do the big thing. The federal government has done this. States, tap on it and push it. How many states have their own digital bridge institutes? I doubt if there is any state that has the kind of thing Digital Bridge Institute does. I'm not sure states are doing their own. NITDA, every state can domesticate their NITDA and say this is what we want to do. So a whole lot of work has to be done. He mentioned, excuse me, certification. What stops Ogun State government, for example, to say I want to ensure that in this particular area we will certify 1,000 indigenous of Ogun State, and then you set up the process. As Ogun State is doing its own, perhaps Bayelsa is saying, I want to face this. You certify and make sure they can do the work. Okay. Like he said, there will be more than enough jobs for our youth once they have the skills. This thing is huge. Okay, and because we have the numbers in terms of our population size, we can actually sit in Nigeria and take up jobs all over the world with our digital skills. And of course, why is it that we don't have several service centers or client centers like Indians run for American companies? Because we don't have the infrastructure. But with what he has said, with what government is doing, you can be in any part of Nigeria and have the kind of broadband access that can enable you service clients even in Australia. He spoke about the cloud. They are making efforts to bring together those who have the cloud technology so that we can have cloud sovereignty. As we speak, we don't have the cloud sovereignty. Even I don't bother too much about that right now. But I know at some point we are going to bother about it. What we need right now is get the children to have the skills.
Get their interest.
They have the interest. I must tell you, they have the interest. We just need to organize better.
That's
and we
true.
can't leave everything to the local government. So maybe the executive order you are talking about should be the federal government saying every state government train X amount of youths in digital literacy. Maybe that is the executive that we need. But for the federal government, I mean, it can provide infrastructure, give the framework.
All right.
Maybe that's the policy framework that they need to be strengthened. You know, the government needs to. Okay, Victor.
Thank you, DG. We've talked a lot. There is the people, the population, and there is the infrastructure. We've talked a lot more about infrastructure, and I'm wondering, DG, if we have managed to leverage the over 100 million internet users that we have in Nigeria. Have we been able to effectively leverage it, for our own economic growth?
Okay, thank you. So on the people also, Mr. President is very intentional on that. The President is talking about reforming the economy to deliver sustained and inclusive growth. And Nigeria as a nation, our greatest resource is our human capital, not the mineral resources underneath us. So to achieve that, we've developed the National Digital Literacy Framework, which Dr. Niran contributed a lot to that. And implementation has kick-started since. The framework has 6 competency areas: device and software operation, information and data literacy, communications and collaboration, digital content creation, safety and problem solving. And we have it in 3 proficiency levels: the basic, intermediary, and advanced. Last year, Mr. President directed Minister of Education to review curriculum. We worked with the National Educational Research Center. We went around all the 6 geopolitical zones for consultation. We worked with stakeholders and everybody. And we have developed digital skills curriculum. And it was approved on the 10th of October last year by the Minister of Education, Council of Ministers of Education. Now we are working with UBEC to train teachers across 774 local government so that they can start teaching digital literacy and skills based on the National Digital Literacy Framework. The idea is to embed digital literacy and skills from primary schools to tertiary institutions. We've also worked with the National College of Education Commission, the one regulating College of Education, NCCE. We've also developed the curriculum for that. And for universities, we have done a pilot with Nasarawa State University. In collaboration with Cisco, Cisco developed content based on these 6 competencies of our framework. Okay. The content is online. In Nasarawa State University today, digital skills is a general studies. Every student must take that. And it's a 2-unit credit course. So we've done the pilot there. Now we are working with NUC to embed digital skills in all our universities. Mr. President is very clear on that. The framework said we should achieve 95% digital literacy by 2030. But Mr. President set a midterm target for us. It is, because Mr. President now says we should do 70% by 2027. And based on the World Bank research, Nigeria digital literacy level as of 2021 was 42%. Then we did some extrapolation based on what happened from 2021 to 2024, and we've agreed that at least we should have added 6 points. That means as of last year, we were at 50%. So we have developed 3 initiatives in 3 buckets. The first one is to infuse the digital literacy and skills into our formal education. Based on the rough data we have, there are more than 15 million Nigerians in the formal education. So if you infuse digital literacy in our formal education today, in 1 year, you will reach 15 million Nigerians. Then the second initiative is workforce readiness, the one Dr. Niran also talked about. We also worked with the head of service, office of the head of service, to add digital skills as a requirement for anybody to join the federal civil service. And if you are already in the service, it's also a requirement for you to get promotion, because you have to take CBT exam. And also it's based on this framework we are doing. So we've started last month with the head of service training civil servants on digital literacy. They are all encouraged to enroll into the content developed by Cisco. Cisco is a globally recognized big tech, and they have one of the largest academy in terms of digital skills. And you earn a certificate which is also globally recognized and is free. They are doing it as CSR.
Okay.
So we've started, so far we have 5,000 civil servants who have registered on that course. And about 1,300 have enrolled. So we are working with head of service to ensure we train all civil servants. I think we have about 80-something thousand civil servants in the federal, in the federation. And we are also working, trying to get state, the sub-nations, nationals to emulate what we are doing at the national level to infuse that. So our target is in the workforce, roughly between public and private sector, we have about 5 million Nigerians. So if you add that to the 15 million, we have 20 million. Then we have the informal sector, because we want it to be inclusive. We want every Nigerian to be part of this digital literacy. We have a partnership with NYSC, and the Minister of Youth Development is very passionate about it, because he was the state minister last time when he came to NIDA. And he facilitated the meeting between NIDA and NYSC. We signed an MOU, and we started a pilot last year. We are recruiting champions from NYSC. NYSC, they have 3 batches and 6 streams every year. So we are recruiting 80 champions in each stream. We've done a pilot in 12 states, started November last year. As of now, we've trained more than 96,000 Nigerians, mostly market women, motor park workers, artisans, and in religious places. So the idea is by April this year, we want to scale it up to 36 state plus FCT. Okay. So if you have 80 times 37 times 6, you have 17,760 champions every year. And the target is we want every champion to train 2 Nigerians every day at least. That means in a month, the target is to train 60 Nigerians on basic digital literacy. We have NYC core members across 774 local governments. Then in a year, averagely, we want each champion to train 600 Nigerians. Because what we did, if you do averagely 60 in a month, in a year, they're supposed to have 12 months, but we say averagely 10 months. That's 600. If you multiply 17,760 by 600, you will get 10,300,000 plus. That means in a year, the NYC can train 10,300,000 Nigerians on a basic digital literacy. In 3 years, our target is to do 30 million. When you add 15, 5, 30, you have 50 million. That will move us from 50% to 70% by 2027. So you can see it's realistic.
There'll be more to talk about. We have to go on break. We have to go on break. Perhaps when we return, Dr. Niron can talk about countries that we can learn from that are also leveraging, digital economy for job creation. So let's pause for this break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Please don't go away.
Well, creativity is so broad. I would say whatever it is that you're creative about, it takes a lot of practice before you become very good. So if it's something you intend to pursue, it's something you have to keep doing. You have to keep practicing. It's not going to be an overnight success, which a lot of people look for. But if it's something you're determined about, but the drawback rather, is that you need what is called staying power. While you're developing your creativity, you need to earn a living. So I know that's where the conflict usually comes in, especially with the hardship in the country and all that. But I think a lot of encouragement from the private sector to create incubator hubs. We've had some of those in tech. We need those across various sectors as well. Incubator hubs where these ideas can come in, be developed, be encouraged, be funded, and then we can expand it from there.
Content creation, while it may sometimes get a bad rap, I think it's actually very important because we have to see ourselves. We have to see ourselves living our lives. We have to show and share our stories. I think that's very important. Now, the job after that is to be able to digitize those stories into something that can provide data and insights, that can ensure that we can be able to support whole-scale industry in these spaces, to ensure that the amount of money that each content creator is getting exceeds what is currently happening for many content creators. The same content creator who lives in Nigeria will be earning less than a content creator who's living in the US or the UK or Japan. And we've got to also bridge that gap, because most of that is being driven by the ability of the consumers to pay for those goods, and also the pricing that many of these platforms have. So I think this is not the job for the content creators and the young people. This is a job for people like myself in the ecosystem who can help support the right pricing, to advocate for the right policies, to support economic development for consumers who want to consume that information and that content. And even beyond content creation, we're seeing that many people are stepping in behind the camera. They are producers, editorial, they are graphic designers, they are in technology, but maybe not in front of the camera. And what we want to say is also, we need those people too. We need those stakeholders involved. And the job of many policymakers, DFIs, is to ensure that the strategic investments get there, the collaboration gets there, and we're deliberate in how we're saying we want to support innovation in our continent.
There's an age group where your brain function is at its maximum, and that's the age group we call the youth, isn't it? So we need the youth, the younger generation, who have the energy, the imagination to be equipped with the proper education, the proper tools, the proper encouragement, and then take what innovation they bring out and turn it into mainstream developmental ideas. So you find a lot of things that are invented by people in school or straight out of school. We need our patent laws to work so that they can earn a living from their imagination. Once the imagination is just for a one-year festival or an event, then it's not worth it. Somebody creates something, we need to get our patent laws to work, we need to enforce them, and then the private sector can use those patents to develop things and encourage more people to be more creative. Back in the days, yes, you had to be an engineer, a lawyer, a doctor. Today we have programmers, we have AI specialists, we have people that are doing ethics on genetics. Those things didn't exist 50 years ago. So there are new areas that need to be explored. The question really, apart from the parenting, does our educational curriculum cater for what the needs of the world will be in the next generation? Because our curriculum is dealing with the issues of the past. We need the government and the private sector to redo the entire educational curriculum to be forward-focused, not retroactive.
This Sunday, live on Sporty TV. Juventus.
Conceição and Timothy Weah applies the finish.
Atalanta.
Samajic, shaping up to shoot. This is Zappacosta.
Juventus versus Atalanta. Live on Sporty TV. SportyBet sponsors coverage of the Italian Serie A.
All right, many thanks for staying with us. This is Good Morning Nigeria. If you've just joined us, and we've been discussing digital skills, digital economy, creating employment through, the digital economy. And just before we went on that break, I had prompted Dr. Nero, to share with us what Nigeria can learn from other countries that are also leveraging digital economy to create employment for its youth.
Thank you very much. As a teacher, when you enter into the class, you want to teach a topic or any topic. What do you do at first? You measure the entry behavior. That has not been happening when it comes to teaching digital skills or empowering people with digital skills, right? The people will be randomly selected and they will put in a class and trained. At the end of the day, nothing to benchmark them to know whether value has been added or not. You can imagine if there are no WAEC, right? And everybody will have to just go into any school, what would they be graduating with? What would they be subjected to at the end of the day? That's exactly what we are saying. That if we want to do it right, we should depart from the old ways of doing things. We spent enough time and money to train our people our own way. We have seen the result. Why don't you change the strategy? First, I want to task my DG here, NIPS, yes, that any figure may be as a result of an assumption, right? When you talk of research today, research should leave the qualitative tools, right? Focus group discussion, key informant interview, questionnaire, whatever, and go to this real global test. There are assessments that the globe has developed and used on their citizenry to establish this. Sincerely speaking, we may be shocked with the revelation we're going to have as a result of that. That is number one. Then number two is that what is digital literacy? What are the components of digital literacy? Is digital literacy something that can be acquired in days, in how many days? Right. When you talk of digital literacy today, it has 6 components, or 5, yes, 6 components, according to UNESCO, right? The first one is the basic digital literacy. And anybody can just go online and say, what is the standard? Because when in the global village, the IC3 is the standard. Then beyond that, everybody needs the generative AI, the communication skills, the critical thinking skills. That is number 2. a component of digital literacy. The third one is you have to be entrepreneur and be enterprising, be able to recognize opportunities, start a business, run a business, and so on and so forth. Those are the three basic things that everybody should be armed with going forward into 21st century. And if we want to do justice, we don't want to give excuses to the upcoming ones. It is time now to ensure that we infuse what this digital literacy is appropriately into the education curriculum and the development at national and subnational level. I'm still coming to that. Then the fourth and the fifth one are the career specifics. Then what will be the essence of you having the three basic ones without enhancing your productivity with it? So there are career pathways, 2, IT career and IT supported careers. So I don't want to take our time, but at the end of the day, the careers in IT should be like the software development, cloud computing, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, computational thinking, Java, and so on and so forth. You pick 2. UNESCO said that. Pick 2 so that nothing is enforced on you. You now pick one at the end of the day that you can advance to becoming an expert on. Then for the IT supported, like a teacher now needs 7 competencies. The digital literacy at basic level, the 21st century learning design, make code, Minecraft, OneNote, Microsoft 365 and Windows. Then you go to the IT, pick one. As an engineer, as the media people, you need Adobe, the Dreamweaver, Photoshop, and all the rest. So they are specific. You see, we cannot miss our way if we want to align with the rest of the world. But let me take my time to address that of the issue with the state. NIDA is here. They are the apex body that must set standard on anything IT, capacity, whatever in Nigeria. Right? Let the standard be set. If the standard is set, sincerely speaking, the states don't have a choice. They have their ways of meeting, right? But what the state is suffering from now is, Edo State, we said, I want to train my people on digital literacy. No standard. Lagos State is doing its own, Ogun State, everybody is just doing like that. If we can come together and set this standard, and let me tell you this, DG is a blessing to Nigeria. I'm not missing my word. If we have its kind, right, Nigeria's story will not be like this. I remember vividly, at the Global Digital Literacy Council last year in Florida, it was the only African, in fact, citizen of the world that objected to what the Global Digital Literacy Council regarded as standard, global standard. He made a presentation and it was applauded. But the question is, when are we going to take to its input? The world is benefiting largely from that now. When are we starting Nigeria? Sir, sincerely speaking, it's doing very well, but we should rally around him and give him further push. If we push him, we get to where we are going. This is the man to hold tightly. So for the state, then for the what others are doing in the world, I've mentioned them already. 1, we need to establish that baseline. That is the way to go. Then 2, so that if we don't do that, we not appropriately see what is wrong with what we are doing or how to move forward. Then the next thing is that this issue of the integration education, I've said that. Then the development of the youth. Government has come up with so many programs, and I'm happy that my DG mentioned it, that digital literacy of Nigeria population must be increased to 70%. But go to the CDC you have, click it. Before now, that priority area 7, that the government is relying on to diversify our economy through innovation, creative art, digitalization, and industrialization. We were benchmarked at 0 at the end of 2023. That we must attain 50% by the end of this year. If you go to that app now, there is no key KPI, no project, and we are talking here. Nothing to show that the government is actually doing anything to attain that 70% target by 2027. Sincerely speaking, we need to come together to ensure that we support this government. The target is there, we've seen it, so what do we need to do? we need to brainstorm.
Okay.
And by the grace of God, we'll get there. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Nero. I know that Professor Mata, you want to react to some of the things he said.
Well, he is a private sector practitioner, and I understand where he's coming from. But we have established that, number one, do we have are the youths ready? We have shown that the youths are ready. Do we have the materials? We have said, we have deficiencies in infrastructure, but the DG of NITDA has told us what government is doing to address infrastructural deficits. And then the second thing, do we have the methods? Methods will relate to policies, strategies, and practices. And then the DG of NITDA also clearly outlined what they are doing to ensure that the methods work for us. The private sector is of the opinion that, let's have an executive bill. Bills, laws do not matter. Once we have agencies that are set up to do certain things, we should let those agencies work. For us at NIPS, we have identified critical areas where we have deficiencies. We have identified growth potentials for our youths, and then we have outlined how you can achieve the numbers.
I think what he was trying to say is that when we have a bill or we have a policy in place, it will further guide all the other subnationals.
The policies are there. The policies
to key into doing the right thing.
To be candid, we don't need any new policies on...
the policies, are they being implemented?
Sure. We have just told what the deficiencies are. It appears it's only the federal government that is implementing or pushing. We are saying that we should domesticate some of these things.
Okay.
He spoke about all of us coming together. Yeah, maybe we need a formal engagement and say, state, what do you want to do? But normally one would have thought that, the federal government sets the standard, states will key into it, and let it cascade down to the local government level. The major thing is building a structure for development.
Okay.
It has to start from the grassroots. Not the national has set it. Let us go back to the grassroots from the local governments. What are you going to do? What are you contributing in terms of training the youths?
Okay.
Every local government contributes it, so you put that together, you have at the state. When they do what they are supposed to do, we'll have the numbers we are looking at. It keeps talking about global standard. I agree we must have global standard because we are using the same devices on the same infrastructure. And my own take is that we have industrial training fund, and I know, I've spoken to Dr. Hafiz, and we know that they are also doing something about ensuring that we get our children certified. We just need to push the numbers. We spoke about the Students' Loan Fund that is now being allowed to also can be used for certification. We probably need to keep sensitizing our youth, catching them where they are. It is catching them at the level of the NYSC because we cannot wait for them to go through the 12-year school system before we teach digital skills. And I just spoke to you now about the device that can easily be used. Digital skills that are basic are not hard to teach.
Developing that device. Right?
Yeah, we do designs, and when we do designs and we know this can work, we go to NITDA and say, okay, can we work together on this? They have a lab that we used the last time. We are for NIPS. We are the think tank. We can't wait to start thinking. When I spoke about the robot teacher, it's because I have to think about the future. Okay, very soon you are going to need robots to teach because they can actually do it better. You know, if you train the robot, it will teach.
We're thinking of creating more jobs.
Yeah, that's great.
Robots taking
no, it's just one teacher. It's just one teacher. Do you know how many people are involved in developing robots, in developing AI? Okay. You don't. The numbers are there, and look at the number you will need. You are not going to say, "Oh, robots replace teachers." Okay, but there will come a time when nobody will be able to go to some people are not actually going to rural areas to teach.
All right.
Okay, you put the robot out there to teach.
All right.
No, I mean, you have to envision things 5, 10 years ahead of time. That's why, and you see, some of these projects you do, it's not basically about the ultimate aim. The skills it will allow children to learn as they look at a bigger thing. If Nigeria was a country that has done rockets, and have sent rockets into space, the skills to send rockets into space are very diverse. At the end of the day, it's not about the rocket, it's about all the other skills that people learn around it. So you must set up a mega target of progress around which things will grow.
Thank you. We're running out of time. Now, did you need that? I'm just wondering, of course, I wanted to raise that issue of robot teachers and denying our teachers jobs, but you're saying, well, we have to build. It's not going to be now, because the teachers you have there now, you're not going to convert them to developers of robots overnight. But let me ask the DG Nida, how can we, private and public partnerships accelerate, the development of our digital workforce?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Victor. Like, we've developed a participatory framework. Whatever we do, it is no more government sitting in the office using armchair theory to come up with policies and regulation. Like, example, the digital framework we were talking about, it was developed through participatory engagement. Private sector contributed a lot. Dr. Niran was one of the champions for that policy. But I know his pen when it comes to implementation. We have our differences, but I think we can go back to the drawing board to see how we can make things faster and easier. Like in the area of the skills, we look at it from two perspectives. There are fluency, which we need to develop our citizens' digital fluency. For example, a market woman doesn't need to do coding or whatever. All what she needs to do, be able to snap a picture, post, and do small digital content. But there are professionals who need proficiency. For example, a doctor, a teacher needs some level of proficiency to do his work better. So engagement, I believe, will help us to achieve more, because there are things government can do, private sector cannot do. And there are things private sector can do, government cannot do. But together, we can do greater things. So even in terms of job creations and many more, the future is arriving faster than we expected. COVID-19 has accelerated the pace of digitization. Like Prof talked about using to inject Panadol into our bloodstream and so on. All this is happening. It's reality. Like with AI today, you can grow a meat steak from the cell stem. You can grow a sea bass fillet. You can do a lot. You can do a soilless farming. So there are so many things you can do, but that does not mean computer or AI robots will take over the jobs. As they take over those jobs, they will create new jobs. For example, at NIDA, we have our AI transformation roadmap. Before, when we receive letters from outside, we have a registry unit that receives the letter, register it in a book, take it from one office to another and register it. But now we have automated everything. When we receive the letter, we scan it. When we scan, before, the registry will email it to DG, then DG will read and email it to relevant department. But now we have moved to the next level. We are using AI to read the content after scanning. Then the AI will decide which department should I send this email.
Okay, DG.
And copy the relevant.
DG, because of time, we run out of time. Dr. Nero, just in 30 seconds, what are the takeaways from this conversation now that you would advise the policy makers that they can hold on to?
There's one thing I've achieved that Nigerian has achieved: collaboration. My DG hammered on it.
Okay.
That is the most important. And my DG actually has been a torchbearer, because when we are developing the National Intelligence Framework, my knowledge was limited to just the basic digital literacy. But you now query it, that how will you enhance productivity of a teacher? How will you enhance the productivity of an accountant and all this? So that was what pushed me to go on further research. And I helped him to come up with that 6 components of digital literacy.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Nero. We can go further.
We can go further than that.
All right, thank you so much for coming on Good Morning Nigeria. Victor, you can just
okay. Let me thank Dr. Nero Uyekale, Chairman and CEO at Commit Technology and Consult, who is also a digital and emerging skills advocate and public sector consultant. We appreciate your time and your perspective. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
And let me also thank Kashifu Inua, Director General, National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA. It's been a pleasure, as always, having you on this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And let me thank Professor Ayo Omotayo, Director General, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies. Thank you very much for your time and your thoughts on Good Morning Nigeria today.
Thank you very
and
much.
We also had Dr. Bashir Abdul Muzakiri. I think we lost connection to him, but we appreciate the time that you spent with us and your contributions to the program. Thank you very much. So that's Good Morning Nigeria for this Thursday. It's the 4th for the week. Tomorrow is the final day for this week. Join us again. I am Victor Azu.
And I'm Ademola Ade. We appreciate your company on the program. Do have a lovely day.